we are using this 10 minutes or 15 minutes of Maitri Milan session to become familiar with our own Indian culture and ethos. We have celebrated with great gusto very recently the Ganesh festival, and we have seen our brothers and sisters from Maharashtra singing so gloriously about the Ganesha Arati. Similarly, we had earlier Krishnastami, then Guru Purnima, and so many other festivals. Festivals are put into our calendar, Hindu calendar, just to remind ourselves to get connected to our culture. So, we are now going to have very shortly the Dasara festival, Navaratri festival, which is celebrated in great gusto all over India. And then the motherly aspect of the divine is glorified for the 9 full days. And it is a sort of great tribute to all the women and the motherhood of our country. So, in order to ensure that we all get connected to our culture, Stotra chanting is part of our culture. So, we are endeavoring a new experiment in the Maitri Milan sessions from today. We have requested our Mrs. Sriparna Rai to lead and let us all learn the famous Mahishasura Mardini Stotram describing the glories of the Mother Durga killing the Mahishasura, the demon. This demon again, I'm sure she will be able to, we will, during the course of these 1 week, where we are going to learn this stotram, we will also get to know what is the inner significance of this such stotras, chanting of these stotras, and the benefits derived from that. So, without much ado, I would like to just mention, in order to ensure that we stick to the time of 10:15 or 10:18, we are not chanting our regular prayers, which anyway we have now become very familiar with that. So we are cutting short of the daily prayers to only Ganesha Stotra and then the Panchangam. Then after that, I request ma'am to take over and then lead and follow, teach us the Mahishasura Mardini Stotram. Thank you.
Next we move to Panchangam. Panchangam, the first slide, all of us been chanting for so many days, so this part we will chant all together, okay? Together. Adyatana Panchangam, Panchavinshatyadhika Ekashatottara, Panchasahasratama Kaliyugabdaha, Shri Shobhakrit Nama Samvatsaraha, Dakshinayanam, Varsharitu, Bhadrapada Masaha, Krishna Pakshaha. Now lead and follow. Saptami Tithi, Mrigashira Nakshatram, Variyana Yogaha, Bhadrakaranam, Brihaspati Vasaraha. Today's date 5th October 2023, Thursday. Now we go to, by invoking the grace of Ma Durga, we start learning Shri Mahishasura Mardini Stotram. So first we will read one word, then we will chant it together. Aigiri Nandini, Nandita Medini, Vishwa Vinodini, Nandanute, same slide. Aigiri Nandini, Nandita Medini, Vishwa Vinodini. We will split the line into 2 parts, chant, lead and follow, then we will try the entire line. Aigiri Nandini, Nandita Medini, Vishwa Vinodini, Nandanute. Now let us try, lead and follow entire line. Aigiri Nandini, Nandita Medini, Vishwa Vinodini, Nandanute. Aigiri Nandini, Nandita कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते भगवति देशिति खण्ड कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते. This part again we are going to continue tomorrow. Now shloka from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, shloka number 2. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Veshyamano Yemam Nityayukta Upasate Shraddhaya Parayopetaha Te me yuktatama mataha. Padavicheda. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Mai Aveshya Manaha Ye Mam Nityayuktaha Upasate Shraddhaya Paraya Upetaha Te Me Yuktatamaha Mataha. So, Bhakti Yoga is the name of the chapter, and this chapter, though it is a small chapter, but it is giving the essence of entire Veda. Shloka 1 to 12, Bhakti Yoga is explained. Shloka 13 to 20, the result of Bhakti Yoga will be told. Now, Bhakti Yoga is a group of sadhanas, namely Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga and Jnana Yoga. All this put together is given the name Bhakti Yoga. Why Bhakti Yoga name is given? Because all these sadhanas cannot be sadhana if devotion to the Lord is not there. Now, for our betterment, our benefit, Krishna Bhagavan has further subdivided these three sadhanas into 5. Karma Yoga level 1 to Upasana Yoga level 1 to and then Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga level 1 means Krishna here includes all the people who are interested only in the benefit of self, either monetary benefit or some entertainment, enjoyment, but whatever activities they do it only for the self, not for others. Neither for moksha they work, nor for the benefit of society they work. But Krishna says that even they can be considered karma yogi, but 2 conditions have to be fulfilled. What are the conditions? Condition number 1. Whatever desire they fulfill, they have to fulfill the desire through legitimate means not following adharma. Following dharma only, they have to fulfill the desire. Condition 1. Second condition is that whenever they get the desired result, they should not claim that this is my own accomplishment. Rather, they should say that it is the gift from the Lord that has come to me. Be it car, house, even food that we eat. Even sometimes you might have heard some children's name their name as Shiva Prasada, Rama Prasada, Deva Prasada. What does it mean? That even the children is seen as gift from the Lord. What is the benefit of this Karma Yoga level 1? Mind becomes purer. What is the indication that mind has become pure? There will be a natural tendency in the mind to give, to contribute, to help others. So earlier it was taking, now it is a giving mind. That is the indication that mind has become more purer. And then the person is ready for Karma Yoga level 2, where the person help others, but not with arrogance that I am the doer, I am doing, but with the attitude of dedication, the action to the Lord. That is the attitude. Then comes meditation, upasana. Why meditation is needed? Karma Yoga is very, very effective, but there is one effect which has to be neutralized. What is the effect? Because of extreme involvement in karma, mind becomes very extroverted in nature. An extroverted mind is obstacle for Jnana Yoga. Mind has to be turned inward, and meditation is the sadhana given where the mind can be slowly turned inward also. And meditation also level 1, 2. Ekarupa and then Vishwarupa that we have seen. Then person comes to the next level, which is Jnana Yoga Rupa Bhakti. In that person understands the nature, higher nature of Ishvara and the self are one and the same consciousness. And one has to go through all the 5 stages of sadhana. Now here in shloka number 1, Arjuna asked, in between Saguna and Nirguna Bhakta, who is the best? Saguna Bhakta means who is worshipping Bhagavan with a particular form, Ramakrishna, or meditating on Bhagavan in the form of entire world. These 2 people are considered Saguna Bhakta. Nirguna Bhakta is a person who has understood the higher nature of Ishvara and self to be one and the same. So among these 2, who is the greatest one? Now Bhagavan's answer is that the question itself is wrong, so it cannot be answered. Suppose I ask you that how many kilometer is the weight of this table? Can you answer? No. Kilometer and weight has no connection. When you have to make a choice, 2 things have to be similar. Like somebody comes to your house, you ask, would you like to have tea or coffee? So there is a choice possible because tea and coffee are similar in nature, drinkable. But a child comes and asks to you, should I go to primary school or college? Can you answer? No. He has to go to primary school, get qualified and then enter college. Similarly, Saguna Bhakta and Nirguna Bhakta cannot be compared. One is the stepping stone and other is the mean, the goal. So they cannot be compared. But Bhagavan does not want to say to Arjuna that your question itself is wrong. Why? Because it will be insulting to Arjuna. And this is one great teaching we should learn, that if somebody comes and asks me a question and I find the question is very silly, but we should not say to the person the question is silly. We have to answer it. Why? Because for the person, till the question is answered, the question is very important and relevant. So we should not insult. Now how Bhagavan is answering? Bhagavan will say, Saguna Bhakta are the superior. And next shloka he will say, Nirguna Bhakta will attend me. So it's a confusing statement, but not meant to confuse you. It means that comparison itself is not possible. So in this shloka Bhagavan says, Ye mam upasate, those who are meditating on me, on Saguna Ishvara, mai aveshya manaha, keeping their mind focused on me, nitya yuktaha, consistently they are doing this, ever committed, paraya shraddhaya upetaha, and their mind is endowed with complete faith. Why complete faith is required? The result is purification of mind, which is not visible, we cannot see. So even then we are doing, means we trust that this will give purity of mind. Te me yukta tamaha mataha. Those people are considered to be superior by me. That is the message of the shloka. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for that lucid explanation of Saguna and Nirguna Bhakti. And thank you for teaching that one. So I think most of the students also are familiar with the words, so we can go faster tomorrow. I also have the privilege of welcoming a wellness program conducted by SVASA for the CDAC institution. Again, CDAC is not new to us because this is almost 5th or 6th batch which is coming here. There are 30 plus members of the family of CDAC from Bangalore are here for a wellness program conducted by the SVASA for 3 days. We welcome you, all of you. Thank you very much for coming here. Have a very, very pleasant and a good wellness program. I'm sure even this input also adds to your wellness. We have the CDAC HR senior member of the management from the CDAC, Dr. Mrs. Bilu George, to come and then hoist the flag after the Shanti Mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kachit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
जनगणमन